An investigative journalist has been interrogated by government national security forces and fired from her job for documenting and exposing covert CIA-NATO operations directly arming ISIS terrorists. How does this case directly connect to Farhad Azima, a major American Azerbaijani arms trafficker and chairman of the U.S.-Azerbaijan Chamber of Commerce, a mega Clinton donor? Iran-Contra, the CIA, Project for the New American Century, former Vice President Dick Cheney, notorious neocon Richard Armitage, the Prince of Darkness Richard Pearl, Operation Gladio B, NATO heroin hubs and transportation, Bulgaria, state secrets. Find out in this breaking story exclusively brought to you by Newsbud, including a full exclusive interview with investigative journalist Dilyana Gaytandzhieva, a candid commentary by Sibel Edmonds, documented evidence.
Our enemy is a radical network of terrorists.
Terrorism, a group of terrorists, our systematic effort to dismantle terrorist organizations must continue.
The terrorists and extremists.
Radical Islamic terrorism.
In this report, we will document how the war on terror is a false pretext to justify undeclared wars on sovereign nations. We will establish how the U.S., NATO, and their allies are covertly arming the same terrorist groups that we are allegedly fighting. And you will see how the media is corrupt and complicit in suppressing this information and is only there to promote their wars, as they are the propaganda arm of the deep state. In February of 2017, investigative reporter Dilyana Gaytandzhieva authored a bombshell report for Trude newspaper, based in Belgium, which found that an Azerbaijan state airline company named Silkway Airlines was regularly transporting tons of weaponry to Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Turkey under diplomatic cover as part of the CIA covert program to arm anti-Assad fighters in Syria. Gaytandzhieva found those weapons ended up in the hands of ISIS and Al Qaeda terrorists in Iraq and Syria. While it has been known for some time that the US, NATO, and their allies have been arming terrorists, this investigative report reveals previously unknown extensive documentation detailing the precise logistical chain of the weapons as they flowed from their country of origin into the battlefields of Syria and Iraq. The Bulgaria-based journalist obtained and published dozens of secret internal memos, which were leaked to her by an anonymous source as part of her report. I spoke to freelance journalist Aaron Kessler, who had previously reported on the leaks.
This leak, which is actually a total of 50 gigabytes now. When I wrote it up, it was only 10 gigabytes. This leak actually shows that Silkway Airlines helped terrorists by being a distributor for weapons and chemical weapons. They gave chemical weapons to terrorists within the Middle East to destabilize the Middle East. This is direct evidence that all these countries are involved in geopolitical moves in the Middle East for their own gain. What's really interesting about this leak is that U.S. companies were connected.
The leaked documents show internal communications between the Bulgarian government and Azerbaijan's embassy in Sofia, detailing flight plans for Silkway Airlines, which was essentially operating an off-the-books weapons transport service under the cover of diplomatic immunity, rendering the contents of the shipments immune to any regulations or inspections. These shipments were for the U.S. Special Operations Command, Saudi Arabia, Israel, Germany, Denmark, and Sweden. The CIA has been known to farm out legally questionable activities to private contractors for the sake of plausible deniability. So it's not surprising to also find the names of private American companies contracting with the U.S. government, like Purple Shovel, who had 2 no-bid contracts with the U.S. government for $50 million to help train and equip militants in Syria, listed in the leaked documents in connection with the weapons transports by Silkway Airlines. This report is being blacked out by the media, and just days ago, the investigative reporter was interrogated by the Bulgarian security services, but they weren't asking about who was trafficking the weapons to support international terrorists. They were grilling her about her sources, wanting to know who gave her those documents. Immediately following the government interrogation, she was fired. Newsbud was able to secure an interview with the persecuted journalist, which we will showcase in full here in this presentation. But for now, here are a few highlights. Now, Dilyana, tell me about the documents you referenced in your report. How did you obtain them, and what did they say?
In the beginning, I will start with a short explanation. In December of last year, I was reporting on the Battle of Aleppo, when the jihadists from the Al Qaeda affiliate al Nusra Front retreated from their positions. I got inside 9 underground warehouses full of heavy weapons with Bulgaria as their country of origin. When I got back to my home country, I traced back the way these weapon supplies made it to terrorists in Syria, and it turned out that these weapon supplies are just a small portion of a bigger international scheme.
You told us a little bit about how you were questioned by the Bulgarian security services. Can you provide some examples of some of the questions that they were asking you?
I had, a few days ago, I had a phone call from a special agent working for the Bulgarian National Security Agency. I want to stress that I didn't get a subpoena or other notice that I would be interrogated. I just had a phone call, and I was asked to go to the office of the Bulgarian National Security Agency, and when I got there, I was interrogated about the source of the documents, my source of information. I wasn't interrogated about the content of the information that I provided publicly.
Stay tuned for the full interview. This is a very important piece of the story, but it's just one aspect of a much larger story. Sibel Edmonds of Newsbud has been exposing the role of Azerbaijan and Bulgaria in Operation Gladio B, from arms trafficking to heroin transport operations for 15 years.
I began exposing Azerbaijan's role as a major Operation Gladio B hub starting in 2003-2004. As a NATO candidate member and a strategically positioned member of Operation Gladio, starting in 1997,
Log in or subscribe in order to watch this breaking story and investigative report, including our exclusive interview with investigative journalist Dilyana Gaytandzhieva, leaked documented evidence and glaring direct connections to some of the biggest names and entities connected to the deep state and Operation Gladio B, only available at newsbud.com. For just a small subscription fee, you can become a member of the Newsbud community and help keep this website running. Your subscription will provide you with full community access to exclusive content, including videos and articles from Newsbud's team of experts and analysts, as well as a members-only monthly newsletter from Newsbud's founder, Sibel Edmonds. Sign up today for full access at newsbud.com.